Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another Endfield video. And it's the type of topical matter that you would probably guess knowing where Endfield is right now as a game. It's about what is wrong with it. Because I'm pretty sure every single CC in the space that isn't grifting in the most hyper way possible will tell you that Endfield is kind of just cooked as a title. And we've got Kooky Kaze over here being one of the front runners telling us, well, what the f is wrong with it? And joined by him, there have been some previous videos that we've either reacted to or looked at in the past, just so I can tell you that he's not alone. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can take a look at some of the profiles of people like Smug Slab. Arknights Endfield needs to wake up, 32k views. What are they doing? I don't know. And then, of course, you even got Moose on Cocaine. A guy who's on the record glazing the shit out of this game for no fucking reason. Well, even he has to say, what the fuck is wrong with this game? I'm tired of waiting. And don't worry, if you thought the content creators weren't enough, why don't you just ask the viewers on Twitch? You want to know what came out the other day? Contingency contract. Doesn't look like it, though. Doesn't look like contingency contract came out. Wasn't that supposed to be God's gift to gacha gaming? Wasn't that supposed to be God's gift to gacha contingency contract? Yeah, I guess nobody wants to play that shit either. It came out and the game's already back at sub 1k viewers. So yeah, it looks like that shit didn't work either. So now we got this video over here by Kooky Kaze, where he's just straight up saying it's dreadful in Arknights Endfield right now. So why don't we go ahead, see what this one is all about, get one of the, I guess, more final takes on what's making this game so shit after we've seen so many complaints from pretty much every single facet of the legitimate content creation space for this title.
I've already filmed the review for patch 1.1 and 1.2, but as soon as 1.3 came out, I thought that was a disaster class and it had me scrapping whatever I want to say because I feel that it turns all the things that I prepared for irrelevant. So
to tee us off, he already filmed a 1.1 and 1.2 Arknights Endfield review, and 1.3 was so fucking bad, it made him redo his entire review. Because this is what I bet was in his 1.1 and 1.2 review. This game is like, okay, and then 1.3 will determine how good 1.1 and 1.2 are. And 1.3 was dog shit, and so now 1.1 and 1.2, the points that he made, they're not legitimate anymore because the game proceeded to get worse. This sounds rough. This sounds bad, and I guess I'm glad that he's doing something as a bit of a recovery, but you can already tell this isn't a good way to start off the review process. He's already probably a little bit pissed.
I'm refilming a review again and doing it here together with my chatters on stream, and we're just going to talk about how we feel towards Endfield. So this isn't just going to be specific to the things that happen across the patches, but I think this is just the general state of what Endfield is going through right now, okay? So I'm just going to start off by mentioning what I think Endfield is doing really right, because
I hate that he's doing this. And let me tell you why I hate that he's doing this. Because Kooky, on this stream, where he recorded this shit, has already said the honest truth about the Endfield community. And this one might make some of you a little bit mad, okay? But listen to this, Endfield players.
Like, I'm taking the time to explain what I like about the game. But you know why or not? Because Endfield people are softies. If I don't say it on the first second, it always happens on YouTube. If I don't say on the first second that my current stance is I like the game, they'll think I hate the game. But then again, it doesn't win, because if I tell them there's problems with the game, they'll just think I hate the game. It's like, I cannot stand a ground of like, guys, I love the game right now, but there are problems. Can you listen to me?
So that's why he's starting off this video with, let me go and run through everything I like in this game so that I can, like, basically, this is like him putting on a condom. If you don't, he's actually going to get, like, an STD from the Arknights Endfield community. Like, bro, you need to, like, prep. You need to literally use protection when you're critiquing the game by, like, creating, like, a defensive barrier of, like, glazing at the start of your video. That's the best way to describe it. Honestly. And that's why the first, like, 3 minutes of this video is him just saying a bunch of bullshit. So that he can, like, come to terms with the Enfield community and then actually critique the game properly without getting cannibalized by a bunch of toxic positive morons. That's probably the best way for me to describe it. Yeah, no, that's exactly what's going on. So let's get ready for the glaze, guys.
Personally, my stance of the game is that this game is a game that I would support. I think it's doing a good job on many fronts. It's got the best world design, right? It's got the best aesthetic appeal.
Like I said, this is the YouTube equivalent of a condom.
The characters are designed really well. And I know that a lot of people are going to contest that maybe the characters aren't too great. But I have the biggest happiness in playing Endfield versus the other gacha games for my own personal reason, that is, these characters are very fluid for me to use. The reason why I do not enjoy the other games is because whenever they release a new character, it's very clear-cut that they have this character. You should pull for this character because it works for some of your other existing units, it works with some of the incoming units, and get ready for it to power creep someone, because if you don't own this character, you're gonna feel like you're worse off than other people. But the thing is that
the easiest way I can say this is just a bunch of bullshit that he's saying, that I don't even think he knows what he's saying at this point, is because, bro, Endfield has only had 3 updates. You can't even talk about power creep yet, because it's only had 3 updates!
with the way that Endfield has released the new characters,
Bro, the game, like, basically just came out. What are we doing talking about, like, roster building and must pulls? Like, bro, imagine having the conversation about roster pulling and must pulls in, like, HSR 1.2. Bro, who was in HSR 1.2? Bro, wasn't it like fucking Luocha? Fucking Kafka, bro? Like, no, bro.
I don't really feel that way because I do think that they're
Jinzi and Chang Li? Bro, there's no discussion to have. Kafka and Blade. Bro, there's no discussion to have at that point.
done a good job in terms of not just making it such that the game is all about mono element, right? Like for instance, when they release...
Bro, you've only had like 3 characters added to the game. Bro, there's been like 5 characters.
The character of Tang Tang. Yes, she is a cryo-inflictor, but the thing is that the ability for you to make
It's been like 4.
hybrid teams in this game is so wow. Not just across the art elements, but also for you to do things like physical and arts. You know, with the likes of Rossi and also future characters that are to be released, it's so fun to be able to see how you can create multiple different teams in order to clear various game modes. None of the teams in this
game doesn't even have a meta yet.
Feels like the Force. Some people might assume and claim that this is the best team in the game, this is the best gear set you can use, but honestly speaking, with the way that they designed the game, it's so easy for you to just figure out that other people might be more suitable in certain Umbral Monument stages. I've done a lot of funky things in my own Umbral Monument stage, like using Levitine without a Heat Inflictor, using Yvonne not with a Cryo team, but with a Nature team instead.
When you have 10 minutes to clear, bro, I don't think it matters what you do, right? It's just like, don't die. Bro, you have 10 minutes to clear. It's like, bro, as long as you don't die, doesn't anything work?
Like, all those things are able for you to see. And with the incoming contingency contract that is about to arrive, you're gonna see even...
It's just banging your head against a wall, finding some way to, like, play this game for 10 minutes. Like, just play the game's combat for 10 whole raw minutes. That's the hard part about this endgame. It's not the mechanics, it's not the gameplay, it's finding the willpower to play Enfield's combat for 10 whole minutes at a time.
More wilder teams, not the typical meta squad that all the YouTubers are praising. You gotta use this team, you gotta use this gear set. Things are about to change. Of course, that's not gonna happen on low risk, but for people who want to chase the game in terms of the challenge, the difficulty, you're gonna realize that very non-traditional teams are probably gonna work much better when playing something like Contingency Contract. So,
basically, what he's saying is that the mechanics are so shilled in the endgame that you have to run these autistic teams that you would never have thought of because the mechanics are so shilled. So it's like Wuwa, and they came out with, if you parry an enemy with the skill, they gain minus 5,000 defense. So it's like, now Tao Chi is a meta character because now Tao Chi and Jan Xin are meta units because they can parry an enemy with the skill. That's like what dynamics we're talking about over here. Hey, here's this mechanic that only 2 characters in the game have, and if you use them, the boss instantly dies. Don't you like this? Go build them. Yeah, go build that unit now, spend all the resources, and then go top up in our store because you ran out of character ascending resources. Shilling to that degree is another way for them to just get you to spend money.
that is something that I'm so excited about with...
Because in this game, you gotta build everybody that plays the endgame. Because they're AI-controlled teammates, and if you don't build them and you try to run like a hobo build on somebody, they'll die. Because they're AI-controlled, and the AI will kill your character. So better make sure they got end level gear, maxed out investment and stuff like that. You can't just put in like a low cost naked Sanhua. You can't put in like a low cost Tao Chi. You can't put in just like a +0 moonlit clouds right on a unit. You got to make sure they leveled up because they getting controlled by AI.
This game state that the foundation of this game, again, I also didn't bring up the audio design of this game being fantastic as well. The base of this game has always looked really good. It's the reason why I was impressed with this game from the very start of 1.0, that no matter if the content feels weak, the story is not so good and whatnot, at the very least I feel that this game can go far if they know what they are doing with the game. But let's just be real about it.
They don't. That's the issue, Kooky. They don't know what they're doing with the fucking game.
This and say it straight. It doesn't feel like they understand what they're doing with the game. I mean,
guys, let me tell you how much it means for somebody like Kooky to be saying that. Bro, this guy has 1.3k videos, like, just on Arknights. He's a fucking fan.
I mean, the way that they've been releasing the content patches and the way they've been marketing the game, it's all over the place. It's a mess. Look at the gacha banner schedule. It's random, right? We started out with a 17-day weird number and then it went into Fang Yi with a 35-day. Now we've gone into 21 days, which is pretty standardized.
So, 17 days. They're all expiring pity, by the way. That doesn't carry over. The first 1.0's banner 17 days, 1.1 17, 1.2's is 32, and then 1.3's is 21. No, he's right. What are they doing?
Across all the gacha games, looks like they're experimenting, they're trying to figure out what's best for the game.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. The fact that these guys can't even decide how long their banners are is hilarious to me. Like that to me feels like something you should have established. And like, I guess the fact that it's like, bro, that's objectively hilarious. Bro, this feels like a dev not knowing how much to make a pull cost. And like, it feels like they changed the amount that each pull costs in between banners. Like, it's just like, how do you not know something that should just be so concrete and just so established months before release?
Good for them. But even when it comes to like the way that they market the game as well, on one hand they decided, okay, certain things will go into a live stream format where we have people watching live all together, and then other times we're gonna get it into a video form so that people just watch it whenever they want. And then
video form is when they know the patch is bad. That's why 1.1 and I think 1.3 were in video form, because they were like, yeah, this is some shit.
If not, let's just not even put it on our official channel. Let's put our live streams into IGN, where definitely people will be so happy to be watching it on a completely different platform. For some reason, we decided...
Bro, it really just seems like Hypergriff and like Griffline are retarded. Doesn't it?
that it's important to tease about 1.4, and again, instead of putting it on the official channel, let's ship it to IGN first, and then later on, 2 days later, we'll get it official channel. The thing is that I understand that they want to get a bigger audience, probably because they want to hope that more people will be looking at the game, trying the game.
It's not thinking, it's knowing, Kooky. And we all know this game desperately wanted to become a mainstream cult classic like Genshin Impact. That is what these guys desperately wanted. Otherwise, they wouldn't have tried to sponsor every single fucking person on God's green earth, bro. Bro, like, what was the peak here? 96k viewers on release. And then they kept paying every single person so much money. They paid them so much money, bro, to keep streaming it every single day. And it never worked out. And now the game is literally at, quite possibly, the most depressing viewership numbers anyone's ever seen in the space. You go from 90k on launch to averaging less than 1,000 every day, to averaging 500 across the month of May. This game was averaging 500 viewers across all of May because the patches and the game is so bad. Bro, they advertise to everyone, retain nobody, and are the most dead game in the gacha space, comparatively shrinkage-wise.
game, but honestly speaking, I don't think the marketing of the game is really the issue here. I think the issue is what's going on in-game, and that is the content right now in the game is not satisfying a lot of people enough. And
No. This is how I view it. The content in the game has basically been exactly the same since release. That's the issue. And now, after 4 months in a row of shit, you're finally now saying enough. I hear the complaints from everybody. I've watched all the videos of people bitching and moaning about Endfield. No, it's the same game it's been since release. Nothing's changed. It's just been bad since release. The game hasn't changed. Nothing's gotten better. You're now just seeing, because the honeymoon period's over, right? The rose-tinted goggles, they aren't working no more. You can't positively view this game through the lens of your past Arknights experience. The game is truly just a pile of steaming shit. And I think the main takeaway is, you can visibly see the only CCs covering Endfield right now actively played Arknights before. Anyone that played any mainstream gacha title, like an HSR, a Wuwa, a whatever, they picked up Endfield and then dropped it immediately. Within a month, 2 months max. Because it's such a bad fucking game. Gameplay-wise, right? Such a bad game compared to other modern gacha titles that everyone plays it only as like a side sponsored thing, and nobody even tries to make it a main game. They only play it when they're paid to. It's a side job, literally. It's a side quest. AKE is a side quest for a majority of CCs.
I understand that some of you are okay with the content, but I just need you to be a little bit more open to realize that people aren't happy with the way the Endfield is doing, and let's see why that is so. Instead of going to every nitty-gritty details on everything that is wrong with Endfield, I think there's a very easy word that can summarize what is the thing that they're doing so poorly at, and that is pace. The pace of this game is all over the place in terms of like the way they release characters, the way they release game content, the way that they pace their stories. If we take a look at 1.2 and how we had the big story fight in the Wuling city, that one was cool. The funny storyline was one of the greatest that I've ever seen. It was a great visual experience. They have a lot of cool little elements that they decided to play involved, and I think those are great. But
hey, that's cool. They throw a giant sword at the dragon.
The thing that they didn't do a good job was what happens after you've done that main story, because the side events that you had to do wasn't great at all, right? You had the cleaning event, you had the event where you had to feed some food, you still had some.
And you want to know what my favorite shit is? It's how delusional these retarded Endfield players are. I'm not talking about Kooky, by the way. Look at some of the events that we have over here showing up on the screen, right? I just kind of want to go
the
through
side events that you had to do wasn't great at all, right? You had the cleaning event.
Cleaning event.
You had the event where you had to
cooking event.
Feed some food. You still had survival.
And then a bullshit dodge event where all you do is dodge. And then this is one of the top upvoted posts in this retarded game subreddit. This game doesn't lack content, it lacks gacha slop content. What the fuck is this shit? They're calling this not gacha slop. They're saying this is high quality content. These retarded, delusional fucking freaks in this stupid game community. Bro, I don't know what else to say other than these guys just want to believe this game is good. They'll ignore anything that's actually in it and just lie about it. Imagine not calling this gacha slop content.
Event, you had the event where you had to feed some food, you still had survival training where you just throw random bombs at enemies, and then later on you wait a whole bunch of weeks to get into this area called the test area, which is a beautiful map for you to witness. But the problem with the test area is that it's not very enticing of a storyline. It feels pretty kiddish for me to follow around some floaty items, to go place to place, to see a pillar. Instead of it feeling like a story, it feels like I've just gone to just
Genshin Impact. More literal gacha slop content. You just follow around some fucking little goofy looking fucking lava lamp looking motherfucker. Have him power up all the pipe. Bro, it's just like, bro. Yeah, it reminds me of some Aranara bullshit.
a excursion trip in order to just learn about world, but it doesn't really add much in terms of the world building or learning about specific characters.
Oh, so it is gacha slop content. Guys, these Endfield players have disillusioned themselves into killing this game because they're convincing themselves that their content isn't gacha slop, it's amazing side content, when in reality, it's worse than every mainstream gacha game. Guys, the quests and the content in Endfield are literally worse than Genshin's. But this community has like this elitist attitude towards other gacha titles where they're taking events and gameplay that's worse than Genshin Impact and then convincing themselves it's better and that they're not fucking slop. And that's why I love this video and I love the demonstrations Kuki's putting up, because you can literally see how this is actively worse than other mainstream gachas.
Then that's when we got the notice that we're gonna get the live stream for 1.3, 1.3 patch got released. We all got really excited to see Sword Vault Dale, where they basically teased to us that they're gonna talk about the Legend of the Chi Xiao. Arknights fans all love about this, right? We'd like to see the whole Chen sword having more significance, more backstory, why does it exist, and hopefully Endfield will have a little bit of that tie-in. But turns out when you play the entirety of 1.3, you get nothing. All you do is you walk around the world. Again, it feels like a museum visit. I'm just going to see these things. Oh, there's monkeys, there's bananas, some rocks falling down. A little bit of a gamified kind of experience. You get into the final ending. You hope to read some good books. Nothing is there. It doesn't add to your experience. It doesn't tell you more about who Chen is as a person. It doesn't tell you more about Endmain. It doesn't tell you anything about Endfield. It doesn't tell you anything about Arknights. What is 1.3 about?
So it's just more empty slop. Awesome.
You're basically just gone from what feels like a filler story in the second half of 1.2. You waited so long to get into 1.3 to only just see that it's another filler side story. And some of you might say, hey, chill, it's just a side story. Have you seen AK's side stories and how well written they can be? How much of an enjoyment, how much characterization and laughter and sadness you can get from reading those stories? And
this is him getting mad by bringing up AK's old stories. How about I bring up Wuthering Waves'? Because this is a big reason for why a Wuwa player is going to quit AKE. He's giving reasons for why an Arknights player wants to quit AKE because this stuff is bad. Let's give reasons for why Wuwa players would want to quit. You want to know what's a side story? 2.1, the fishing event, as well as Alvarado Vault. Yeah, those side stories, they don't like go in and make you just think this is hollow side content, right? You have so many, like, bro, it's like, that's probably where the side stories can end, because Wuwa didn't really have any side stories. Bro, even in stuff like the Hiyuki Segs, right? The Denya Quest, all of those, these short 1-2 hour experiences, they're valuable, they're nice, they help out, they fix the game world, they add all this lore, and of course, they're giga skippable as well. So it's like, you don't even have to, like, do them if you don't want to. They add additional flavor. And so it's just like, bro, you have so many opportunities to just see how Endfield is like falling behind if you just play a modern gacha title. And this is why I've been telling AKCCs, because they like, for some reason, bro, these guys hate playing modern gacha games, but they like are forcing themselves to like eat AKE because they love Arknights so much. They're like forcing themselves to fucking eat AKE, a fucking 1-star meal. While games like Wuwa, Genshin, ZZZ, God forbid, they're at least 2-3 stars or above. AK Endfield is like the 1-star gacha game.
in this story, I feel none of that. I feel sad having to waste my time to read that story. 1.3 may have been an overhyped patch, and that's because a lot of people are talking about it in the form of contingency contract. Where's contingency contract? Released 2 weeks after the patch is out, after people have sat through what is probably one of the worst stories that they had to sit through, and then they need to wait till then. Like, some people are gonna give up by then before they even try contingency contract.
And this is why I'm gonna bring back how this game has not changed since 1.0. Kuki over here is talking about, oh, people are gonna quit Arknights Endfield because they had to sit through a dog shit 1.3 story and now wait 2 weeks until contingency contract comes out. So they just got a shit game experience and then they gotta wait for something that they perceive as good. Let me tell you a story about Arknights Endfield's endgame. This is Umbral Monument, the first iteration of Endfield's endgame. Notice when it came out. This is not December for any Americans out there. This is the 12th of February. This game came out on January 22nd. And the Umbral Monument endgame mode wasn't available until the 12th of February. These retarded devs don't know what they're doing, and they have it for 4 months. This was 3 weeks after release. Kuki right here was just talking about how player retention, people are going to quit before a contingency contract comes out, having to wait 2 weeks into the dog shit 1.3 update. Bro, you had to wait 3 weeks in the dog shit 1.0 update for Umbral Monument, and all you got was AKE's dog shit 1.0 quest, and it's fucking bad. And you want to know what the funniest thing is? The prerequisite level was authority level 30. This game mode, if you were actually playing every day, you're a day one player, was so piss easy, it was a fucking joke. You were over-invested like crazy. You want to know why? Because you reached authority level 30 in like your first day or two of playing the game. So the end game doesn't release until 3 weeks in, and the authority level requirement for it was like achieved in like 2 days of gameplay, if not less. So it requires an account investment that's 2 days old, yet was made available 3 weeks after the game, when being balanced for a 3-day-old account. And the end result is that by the time you got to do it, it took you like 10 minutes to do this. You had like level 80, level 90 characters, and the enemies were level 60. That was the pacing of this bullshit in 1.0. And so, remember what I said before about this game? It's not that it's gotten bad. It's not that it's gotten worse. It's just been shit since day one and has never changed. And even 4 months after this disastrous Umbral Monument scheduling, they should have learned for contingency contract, but they didn't. They just repeated the same thing over again, and the game is dying, as it rightfully should. Because hypergriff's like that one retarded kid that, like, looks at a burning pan on the stove, touches it, gets burnt, cries, screams, yells that they're burning, and then touches it again for some fucking reason. And again and again. It's done it like 3 times at this point. And now people are finally saying, man, maybe these guys are just fucking retarded. Maybe these devs are just fucking stupid. They just refuse to learn. They see the same mistakes happening over and over again, and they just keep repeating them. Because how else do you describe them? 4 months after their 1.0 disaster, they delay their endgame that everyone's looking forward to again. Remember, this was 4 months ago. And they did it again.
That's the thing. If you're a defendant of the recent stories and you think it was great and whatnot, I ask of you, can you recount for me what happened in Test Area and what happened in Swordfold Dale? Because maybe you're really good, maybe you actually remember, but the fact that you don't remember goes to say that it just doesn't hit any of us. There is no actual memorable impact, there's no emotional impact, it was just a story. It was just...
I'll take the guy with 1.3k videos about Arknights and like its story and shit. I'll take his word for it. I won't play it myself.
Just something to sit through for an hour or two, and then you go about going back to your daily grind and then seeing how there's still nothing to do in this game.
Oh, I'll tell you what happened during the 2.1 Phoebe Alvarado Vault quest. Yeah, the Order in Renacida weaponized Phoebe and tried to turn her into like a literal like fucking ISIS bomb, bro, and blow up the Montelli Vault without her knowledge. Yeah, a playable character almost got turned into ISIS.
It's directed to the people who are currently still playing Endfield, and there's a huge likelihood that you currently have 2 teams full of level 90 characters, already owning masteries, already got max trust, perfect essence, all across the board. You have already full built so many of your characters that you may not have had in the other games. But again, I don't have a certainty that this is exactly what they wanted when the game launched, and I feel like this is more so in response to community feedback. And as a result, it doesn't pace with what they've already designed for the game. Like for instance, with all the crisis drills and whatnot where they designed the bosses at level 90, I don't think they were anticipating for people to already have full built teams in order to try to smash those stages, because it will make the stages feel very easy to play. Instead, they were probably expecting lower level builds, because again, that would have been the pace of the game, and then people can see more of the movesets, people will be spending more time in order to play those higher stages. But as a result of everyone just speed building, with things like even the world level being decreased on the first patch, now everything in the game just has a weird pace. Everyone is over leveled for every type of content in the game, including all the Umbral Monument stages, and it just feels like there's no place to test your squad, there's no place to make you feel like I'm being pressured by the game.
This literally just sounds like developers that don't play their own game. And I think that's probably where the root cause of so many of Enfield's issues come from. If anyone from the dev team actually played their game, you wouldn't have things like expiring sanity. You wouldn't have things like expiring pity carryover. You wouldn't have so many of these anti-player mechanics just littered throughout the fucking game. And I think the main one is that their endgame feels so unbalanced. And like, bro, we're going back to this. Authority level 30, 3 weeks into the fucking launch of the game. Bro, did they actually expect people to be authority level 30, which you get within 2 days of playing, 3 weeks into the game? How do you balance your shit like this unless nobody's playing it? And how do you still have the same balance issues 4 months later as Kookie's talking about them right now? Bro, I legitimately think nobody at fucking Hypergraph plays this game. It would be better if they did.
When building becomes so fast in this game now it just becomes a strange problem of like, okay, what am I logging in daily for to farm? I guess I'm holding materials now to build even more future teams and future characters, but that's kind of it. You don't really feel a sense of purpose of why you are playing the game, except on the hopium that something good is going to happen for the game. That is literally what's keeping all the existing player here. But
doesn't this just sound like a game that's literally about to EOS? I'm sorry. Am I jumping the gun by saying that? It seems like this game is so close to EOSing, it's insane.
That amount of hope that you have for the developers, not everyone has this. Other people who are already bored and already seeing how this game isn't fitting for them, they're already gonna hop onto other games. It might not be gacha games, could be other things that they love, but that's the point. Endfield is so awkward with their pacing of everything that everyone's just confused what they are supposed to look forward to, and then it just kills all the hype. From
this is just getting sad, bro.
Patch 1.0, where they did
I've already seen people in chat, they're just like, yeah, bro, I feel so bad for them.
So many offline events across.
It's gotten to the point where it's just become sad, bro. And you want to know what this is feeling a lot like? It feels like I'm talking about Duet Night Abyss. And like the time that Duet Night Abyss like got hacked by like Keitaro_GG. And like, bro, I just feel bad for anyone still playing the game and anyone still covering it.
Multiple different countries, they did so much advertisement, got all the sponsored content creators, huge names playing it.
Oh, this is getting uncomfortable.
Not just even that patch, but even coming into patch 1.1, 1.2, so much marketing, and then the whole IG involvement as well. I don't think it's a bad thing that they did this marketing stuff, because you can clearly see they do hope that their game can reach a wider audience. And
yeah, they hoped, and the person hoping was fucking stupid. Yeah, some people hope that they'll win the lottery.
Rightfully so. There's so much hard work that is being done by the artists, by the game developers, in terms of designing, again, the world, the enemies, the art, the characters. But yet, they have some areas of the game that they are just not working on from patch to patch that is really killing the delivery of the game. Not giving any replayable content, not giving any challenging or endgame content in time, and then the story really being so dissatisfying to the point that it just kind of ruins the hard work of certain other teams that have outperformed themselves.
Hey, a lot of people could say the same exact thing about Zenless Zone Zero. Because what ruins ZZZ is the writers, the writing team. They're retarded. They're incapable. They're fucking paycheck stealing bums. And it sounds like Endfield has the exact same issue. Guys, I'm beginning to think Hoyo and Hypergriff are actually writing their stories with AI to save costs, and that's why the story quality's been so bad in so many of their games.
Being so slow to work on what people are seeing as the flaws of the game, whether with regards to the gameplay or the story, is just giving people less and less patience, and
I hope news about that comes out in the future. I really think it will, and that will explain why the quality of these two games is so fucking bad.
fall off the game. There are basically people out there who say that they've spent thousands of dollars on this game and they've already stopped spending. They're just gonna wait and come back when the game actually does better again, and maybe they will consider it. But when is that gonna happen?
Never.
Is that gonna be after we're fully done with this Wuling patch? Which,
never.
By the way, we've been stuck in this Wuling patch for a very long time, and here's the thing.
You wanna know where else ZZZ was stuck? Wi-Fi Peninsula. Bro, ZZZ was in Wi-Fi Peninsula for like 7 patches.
I love games portraying stories of China, and the thing is, I think this game has done the best job.
Bro, ZZZ players were stuck in China for like half a year. Like, bro, it was like longer than some prison sentences. They were stuck in China.
Across all the other games. But we have been here for really long, and the fact that I've mentioned Test Area and Sword Vault,
and I guess Endfield players are stuck in China too,
being so dissatisfying in terms of delivering anything impactful to us, it just makes me want to get out of this place. I know that AK can be pretty good at delivering.
Wait, sorry, but did bro just say he's quitting?
Yes, I think this game has done the best job across all the other games, but we have been here for really long. And
no, he's talking about Wuling.
The fact that I've mentioned Test Area and Sword Vault Bill being so dissatisfying in terms of delivering anything impactful to us, it just makes me want to get out of this place. I know that AK can be...
Dude. Now I get it. With what he said, it doesn't even sound like it's getting out of this place. Bro, it sounds like he just wants to quit this game. Like, straight up. Like, I could read that almost as his play. I just want to quit this fucking game.
Pretty good at delivering their designs of multiple nations, but apparently, as in an interview, they stated that they're going to stay in Wuling for the entire year. I don't know if I'm okay to wait for an entire year anymore.
What do you mean you're not able to?
In an interview, they stated that they're going to stay in Wuling for the entire year. I don't know if I'm okay to wait for an entire year anymore. I just want to see how they can portray the other regions, the other cultures, show the interactions of the various characters out there. But
I don't even think they've even drafted what the other regions are supposed to look like yet, bro.
yet, I just have to hope that when they go into 1.4 and 1.5, please give me a story that feels bearable, or at least something that can make me smile and read. Well,
This video almost reads like a 911 call.
instead of just making me sad that I'm spending another 2 hours again. Say it forth as well, when we talk about the games being very samey with the other big titles also, the formulas that they use to design the stories turns me off quite a bit, and I think this is especially for the fact that we come from AK. The thing is, they didn't have to follow the other games, they could have just learned from AK, and it's not hard to do. That is, can I stop having Endmin in the story? I mean this seriously, like, I love Endmin, but I want to see Endmin being developed. But to me, the way I enjoy a lot of the stories that occurs in the Arknights universe is I didn't need Doctor to always be there. Can we just have character stories where I just run that character itself, play through some...
Go play Wuthering Waves. I'm not even joking, Kooky. Wuthering Waves is literally Endfield's story, not done in a shit way. That's probably the best way I can describe it. Yeah, Wuwa's story is like if Endfield just wasn't trash.
flashback of what they are, or even in the main story itself, I don't need the same assistants to always follow me like Chen and Perlika. Maybe even if there's no Endmin, just give me a different perspective, let people have their own conversations instead of always having Endmin over there as like the sole god watching over everyone and eavesdropping on every conversation that you...
Best example is version 2.7 for Kooky. 2.7 has so many non-Rover storytelling moments that make the story a lot better.
can imagine. Like, I don't need that feeling where I'm a self-insert
AKA when Carp dies.
all the time. You know, I want to enjoy stories for each of their own character's personality, and we're not getting that even up till now. There are attempts at that from 1.1, 1.2, where you have the whole camera switch into Fang Yi and Tang Tang. I love that. Every time they did that, I was basically exclaiming like, yes, they've done it! Now give me a whole story about that. Now, the quick switch of POV isn't exactly a solution to just fix the entirety of the story and make it 10 times better, because at the end of the day though, even if they're admin or not, the quality of writing right now just isn't that great.
This guy's gonna play the game until it EOS's. I can already tell. He likes the game too much, but the game is really bad. And this is the most depressing kind of situation. And guys, this is why I just am so mean about gacha games. Because no game deserves this level of support when it's not doing good. And the fact that there are games out there that have fans like this is something that I despise. I don't despise the fans. I despise that there are so many developers that are willing to just like abuse people like this. Where they know that they'll stay, they'll know that they'll spend because they love the IP and they treat them like fucking garbage in return for that support. And it's just so insane that a game still even has people like Kooky helping it out when, again, my point today has been to show you the stuff he's complaining about in the present. They've been doing this since day one. Hypergriff has been doing the same fucking shit that you're bitching about right now since day one. Delaying endgame, delaying updates, not doing things right, not having a direction, being aimless, all of that. It's been the same exact thing since the game got released in January. And it's simply just the honeymoon phase, blah, blah, blah. It's all coming to a close. And now we're finally able to see the truth, right? But these devs are truly the most lazy, effortless, fucking cash grab developers I've ever seen. And yes, there are some people out there working very hard. The character design team, for example, right? but great. But I mean, bro, hey, you know what? If I died, yo, imagine I die from heart disease, bro. Hey, I'm pretty sure my liver was doing a good job, but we're still fucking dead anyways. It is what it is, right? And it kind of just feels like right here, there's something terminal going on at Hypergriff for like a game to reach this kind of state and to not be fixed at all and to see no improvement at all in 4 months. That's the part that I think is the worst. It's the same mistakes from 4 months ago getting repeated.
I need the stories to have, again, the good build-up of like, not just take me on a ride, and instead, can you let me feel like there's a conflict, there's something that I'm trying to solve, there's something that is worthwhile for me to be reading, a character that I get to learn who they are. There's no tragedy, there's no suspense, it's all very simplistic right now. That just makes me less and less interested to see what the next story is going to be about.
I want all of these Endfield CCs, bro, to just go on a Wuwa arc. Like, bro, I'm pretty sure, like, these guys just play any of the Wuwa stories, and they'll just quit Endfield for good. But that's also part of the reason why I feel like they don't want to do it, because it's like a door that once they open, they can't close it. Playing Wuwa is literally Gotcha's Pandora box. After playing that game, experiencing his stories, all of that, bro, it will, like, actually, like, make you quit other games.
There's a final fix that I really wish for them to do, because I do think that they are well aware this is a strong point of the game. Players are also pointing it out, that is, we are playing Endfield because we like the factory of the game. Some people are only playing Endfield for the story, because you're an AK fan, all you care about
You wanna know what the funniest thing is? This guy didn't even talk about the factory a single time.
is, are they ever going to deliver a good writing? Other people are interested in the fact that this is a free-to-play game, you get to experience factory simulation, and they're so excited to see with every patch what things they will do to the factory. But the biggest issue with the factory is it's not replayable. It's limited. Once you're done, you've created the formulas needed to feed to the outpost, you'll never touch it again. You want to customize, you want to decorate it, there isn't really that much of that within this game. And that is a little bit counter to what factory games are on the other side of things, because if you look at the paid games for factory, like Kerbal Space Program, Factorial, and all that sort of stuff, it's always games that give you giant templates of free space, lots of expansions, lots of ways for you to build and create big pipelines.
And there's never an end. That's the point. Those games release with such a big infrastructure on like expansion and factories and sort of stuff, right? That it doesn't end. There's always another resource, another new thing to get. This game just launched and its factory, I'm gonna be honest, guys, fucking bare bones, bro. There's actually not that much stuff to like build in this game. And the issue is that they like tried to like fucking add the infrastructure without even having close to enough stuff. I've realized that. You guys think the factory is too complicated. I've realized it didn't launch with enough content in it. Because if there was like more of like a gradual progression and like level 90 gear, and then you had like the infrastructure to go all the way up to like level 90 and stuff like that, it would have actually had made sense, right? But now they're just doing new adjacent gear upgrades and just one new resource every time, and it's a fucking shit show. And it's like, bro, I think the best way is like to describe it is like, imagine if you're like building a ship. Each individual wood plank required to like build this ship. And Hypergriff decided, instead of releasing like a fully built ship, you got like a fucking canoe. And now they're trying to turn this canoe, while it's actively on water, they're trying to turn this canoe into a whole ship while it's floating. And the end result, bro, is that it's like taking in water. The fucking ship is like sinking and shit. And everyone now hates the factory because it's a chore instead of actually fun. Because they're putting on like one wood plank at a time every fucking update.
But Endfield space is so limited, and once you're done, it's like over. You don't have to play with the factory anymore. And that isn't very enjoyable. So they did do an AIC related event where they introduced a brand new limited time formula, but the thing that pisses people off is it makes you deconstruct the base, place in a new formula sheet, and then at the end of the event, you gotta take it all out again and put back in the old formula.
That's just not fun.
Rebuilding the base isn't very enjoyable on all types of players, even for factory lovers, because it's like you've already done the hard work. You kind of wish that you have a different space in order to cater to this brand new formula. So the trouble now is, can they make this whole factory thing a little bit more sandboxy in maybe a whole other game mode, so that people who are looking forward to just this aspect of the game itself can find a reason to always be logging in and cater to that brand new sort of playstyle that they can enjoy.
They don't know what they're doing with the factory. I think it's pretty much that simple.
It's gonna take some time. I don't expect it to be immediate, but
they basically made enough for like half a patch worth of content in the factory, and then they just stopped there. Once you realize that, like, wait, there's not actually, the game didn't launch with that much stuff. it almost makes you think, why did they even put it into the game in the first place when it's that surface level?
Is a ticking clock that they have to fix this as soon as possible. Let me just do a big closing over here. That is, Endfield is a fantastic game, or at least I can see that it can get there, but it's just not there yet.
This is the reality. It has the potential, but it's been 4 months, and the game's only gotten worse. When you have potential on release, and then 4 months later, you've only made the game worse, it's gone.
Even if people tell me, hey, you are just hating on Endfield, you should be saying all the good stuff that Endfield is doing. Hey, I want to, but do you have the balls to say that there is enough evidence right now to prove that Endfield is doing an amazing job? Because I don't think that they are.
Nah, they're doing hella good, Kooky. Nah, just listen to your retarded community. Yeah, no, they're totally not brain damaged. Yeah, no, just listen to your stupid fucking community of like fucking hypergrifting retards. Nah, just keep glazing it, bro. After a game's viewership gets snapped twice in 1 month.
We all wouldn't have to be in this space, wouldn't have to be talking like this if Endfield just did a good job from the very front. Even if people were to say that, hey, all gacha games release really poorly when they first do it in the first year. AK wasn't good within the first year as well. Yeah, but how about Hypergrave has already done AK, has done 7 years worth of experience, learned to figure out how to do things a little bit quickly on this brand new game, so...
And this is the thing, Kooky. Everything you're crashing out about right now, saying that Hypergraph should have learned in 7 years of experience, every mainstream gacha player also crashed out on Endfield for the same exact reasons, for its gacha system, expiring sanity, dog shit story, all this bullshit. So you're bagging on the game for not fixing stuff with the amount of experience from AK. We're bagging on the game because it had Genshin, Wuwa, HSR, ZZZ, and decided, hey, let's find a way to make our game worse than all 4 of these combined.
That they don't have such a lackluster downfall and instead need to work so hard to bring the game up again and regain momentum. All the marketing, as I said just now, it's like doing reverse hype. You know, people have...
I think it's intentional. I think they actually are engineering this game to fail, bro. Like that's what it feels like it is.
Been looking forward to such a good game, but now the current game state is there's nothing much that is really worth to point out over here. So that I think is the core issue of Endfield. The pace is all over the place. I don't expect this to be immediately fixed. We all know this. If you have the patience to wait until the next patch, that's great. I'm with you. I have the patience. But you need to be aware, the people who's complaining about this game, the people who's saying, I'm done, I'm tired of this game, they have their own place, they have their own say as well. If that's how...
And the more harshly you critique people that are rightfully pointing out the flaws of this game, and then saying that they're only quitting because they're a hater, that just makes your community more and more brain damaged. However, when this post over here is a top upvoted discussion piece in your subreddit, I think you've already hit the limits of toxic positivity. Because imagine disillusioning yourself into saying Arknights Endfield has no slop gacha content when it has the worst events in the space. Where you cleaned shit off of buildings and animals. You cooked food. Literally cooked food. Menu simulator garbage. And then you just throw random bombs at things in these events and you consider that not gacha slop content. When you have an endgame that doesn't even launch until 2 weeks into the patch, it's just, bro, the community's already fucked because everyone normal already left. And it's depressing. And this is almost like a cry for help from one of the few rational people left.
How the feeling, there's nothing wrong with them. You know, that's just how the game is. It needs to work harder in order to retake all these players back again. It is very likely that whatever the Endfield has planned in terms of the main content-wise for this year has all been set in stone. That is, everything about the Wuling story, everything about the little side events that you get to play, I think all of that are things that they can't change anymore.
All it just makes me think is that Hypergriff actually thought the general gacha player base was full of fucking idiots. And they got humbled so hard that, like, the general gacha player base is way smarter than they thought. And now they're backpedaling, rechanging, and it's just a fucking disaster.
So if people are saying that it's very dry...
Like, legitimately, I think they thought they could just get away with the worst monetization, the worst greed, the worst pacing, the worst, like, content droughts. And then just, like, they would be fine.
It's very boring, expect that to continue later on. I think it really just needs to take into the next giant region that they do, that is like a 2.0, for them to then have a drastic change.
Like, I think they thought they could just do the Hoyo strat of, like, spitting on their player's face and then still getting money. Like, I think they thought, like, a 3D open world gacha was literally a free W and they didn't even need to try.
All the survey feedback, all the stuff that you've been asking them for them to do,
they're not doing it.
These things just cannot come right after. Things like small QLs, sure, they can, but we're just gonna have to wait for months ahead. So
it's basically like this guy got told how many days he has left to live, and he's just like, all right, whatever. It's the same sort of like energy over here, bro. As you can see, it is dreadful in Arknights Endfield right now. It's actually a really, really, really bad spot. And the thing is that Arknights Endfield simply just has not moved. It's been in the same spot that it's been in since release. And it wasn't a good spot in the first place. And I think more and more people are simply just recognizing now Hypergriff and Griffline are possibly the worst developer-publisher duo the space has like ever seen. And it's just laughable. I think it's just laughable at the very least that 4 months have gone by and the game is literally at the lowest metrics you could possibly dream of in every single way possible. How does it only get worse? How does nothing get fixed? And why is it that it's only been able to shrink patch after patch? Surely there's something wrong with the dev team. Surely it's not the fault of the players, right? That's what you would imagine. So why don't you actually hold Hypergriff accountable? Oh wait, they don't care. Yeah, no, this game is already on its lowest revenue month ever. It made like 4 million last month on mobile. So yeah, I guess they don't care either. So if money doesn't talk, if views don't talk, just let the game die then. They're never gonna fucking listen. I feel the most bad for the creators that are believing in this title, but after 4 months and them only making the game worse, believing it, I've got to put it on you guys at this point. You kind of outlasted the grace period. Refresh it? No way. Why? What happened?